It would have been so great if like someone started playing the piano and I started crying. I know. And we made it like, maalaala mo kaya, like Filipino.
So, how did it feel for you?
Yeah, I know. You want to lie down? There's a bed right there, actually. You can
like to finally get this off your chest.
Tell me where he touched you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Half a Nice Day podcast with your host, Joshua.
And Janine.
And guys, we're so excited because this is our first podcast we're recording outside of the UAE with guests. And we are so excited to have these two beautiful comedians in our presence. First of all, we have Aldo over here. The guy in the orange who has the courage to wear that much orange on a podcast.
I mean, they're not going to see me or anything. I mean, unless you're watching this on...
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
they're watching
about
it.
that.
Yes.
Congrats, Spotify. I like orange.
Yeah. And he's also he's half Filipino and half Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a comedian here in the Philippines with over 10 years of experience under his belt. Almost 10 years of experience under his belt.
9th year,
yeah. And we also have the magnificent Nathan as well, who is half Filipino and half Lebanese. So I almost married him before Janine. But I'm still here, guys, with Janine. And he's the owner and chef at Meshwe. Am I saying it right?
Meshwe.
She actually told me about this
earlier.
Get it right, dude.
Get it right with your Arabic.
Get it right.
Josh.
Look at this non-Lebanese person. I
Meshwe.
didn't know either.
But amazing food, I have to say.
Thank you.
And we're so glad to have them in our presence. It's going to be an amazing episode because we're actually back in our motherland over here and with the two funniest people that we met in the country. So, and first of all, a big shout out to Flying House
that's where I was going.
for hosting us, and
thank you to
Timmy over here.
It's just
big
right
shout out
there.
to
You
her.
can see her in the camera, but she's right there.
She's our Jamie today.
Yes, she's helping us today. And to the Space Flying House, and to also Manu who helped us with the equipment. Thank you. And Treehouse Podcast. Yeah, so let's start with it.
Let's go.
Okay, perfect. How is it growing up? Well, mostly for you because you grew up here. Nathan, maybe not so much. So we'll start with you. How is it growing up in the Philippines, looking like a foreigner?
I guess people were just amused, like, oh, a white person. like, and then I just remember growing up, a lot of people would just like call out to me, hey Joe. Like, that was just like the normal thing. Like Joe, I think Joe was like, you're
thinking
white,
you're
so
American, right?
Yeah, and, you get once in a while you get like a like spoken in dollars, but that's rare. That I only got that once.
Okay.
Like, I don't know who actually uses that. Like, did you get catcalled like for being like, wait, Arabo, or did someone like definitely
Or Oy Indiano, as you said during your
Bombay.
Bombay, yeah, true.
yeah.
I got that a lot.
Because I grew up hearing Bombay.
Yeah, Bombay.
But I never heard Bombay.
Yeah.
Bombay.
Bombay.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't know Lebanon, right?
No.
Yeah, Lebanon was.
And then you don't really hear them shout Arabo. They don't do
okay.
that, don't.
Okay. So Bombay talaga.
Yeah, Bombay.
Yeah.
For them, that's like the same thing.
Yeah.
They classify as Bombay. Anyone that looks with a beard and had a Bombay.
A little
They
bit
never
brown.
got specific. They never got like, Lebanese. Like
They would say Arabo.
like
That's it.
blanket.
Not
Arabo.
even Arabo. Yeah.
No, that would be the closest.
Okay.
Like Arabo, Mabaho, that's it.
Yeah.
Ah.
And you moved here. You moved here when you were in your
college.
teenage years. Okay. College.
So
okay.
I moved here at the age of 16
Yeah.
to attend the university.
Okay.
The typical the typical like Filipino abroad who comes back to the Philippines just to
Study
yeah.
university.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of those.
Yeah.
another one here.
Is that different for you? Because I had that experience, so I want to
It was
know
a
more about
culture shock.
yours. Yeah.
Like it was a culture shock, you know. So I grew up in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, and Saudi Arabia back then was very different from what it is
100%.
now. So it's really different. And then I would spend my summers in Lebanon.
Right.
So the only time I've been to the Philippines before coming back here for university was 2 times. Like one was the death of my grandma.
Okay.
And another one, the second time was when my elder brother graduated from high school and we took a vacation. That was it.
But you spoke Filipino na at that time.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So at least you got the language covered. Because
Yeah,
I can
at least
imagine coming
I
here.
was slightly better than conversational.
Yeah.
So it got better when I moved here. But
So you're better than Aldo, because Aldo growing up is English speaking.
Yeah, actually, no,
Yeah.
I was very confusing because like
Mm.
I grew up in different locations. Like I grew up 1 to 4 years old. I grew up in Antipolo. Then 4 to 8 was in Bacolod City, and we spoke a whole different language. It was Ilonggo. You know, like my mom is Ilongga. Everyone at home spoke Ilonggo. To a certain point, I was just speaking Ilonggo. Then I go back to Manila. No one, told me that, hey, it's a different language. So I started speaking Ilonggo to people, and then in Filipino classes, my answers were in Ilonggo, and I'd get the wrong answers. So it was just very
Right.
confusing growing up because no one advised me na, hey, we over here we speak a different language.
True.
Mm.
So even with Filipino class, my homework, I'd bring it home, asking for help from anyone at home. No, we either speak English, Spanish, or Ilonggo. No
Okay.
Tagalog, no Filipino in this
Right.
household.
And Filipino is a subject sa school, diba?
We had it as a subject.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, when I came back, it was grade 2. And from then on, so I was here from grade 2 to grade 6. And in first year until third year, I was in London. So I went to high school in London. So it was I have so many blank spots in I know the patinig katinig, but when it comes to other Filipino grammatical stuff, I'm not updated. So people, a lot of local comedians, when they see me translating from English to Tagalog, it's always you sound like Google Translate.
Oh,
It's very-
okay.
It's difficult for
like
you.
a chat GPT.
just a question for everyone here. Did you guys take special Filipino class, or were you offered that special class? Like it was saying that you're an idiot, so we'll give you the easier version so that you can pass.
No, so I didn't. She maybe, I don't know, but for me, I didn't go to a Filipino
You
school.
didn't go to a Filipino.
Yeah, so I never had the
Filipino
luck.
thing, right? The special Filipino class, or is it, or
Uh,
at other schools?
I didn't have one, but I remember Filipino was my lowest grade ever in my report card. So when I got back, in college, when you get your transcript of records for work, I got it. I was like, Filipino talaga yung pinaka mababa for me, because it was at that time foreign for me. And usually Filipino subjects were your minor subjects. So you would get that on your first or second year. You won't get that in your senior year or junior year. So I was very new sa Pinas and didn't know how to speak proper Filipino. Like what you said, the katinig and the consonants and the grammar and all that.
Remember, I always felt like in school, whether it was civica classes or Filipino classes, it was very nationalistic sometimes. There's it always felt like a little bit of passive aggressiveness from the teachers and my classmates when it came to civica. I was because I'm the colonizer,
Right.
Imagine you're the only white kid and they're talking about killing Magellan and everyone's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, fuck. It's that
He was one of my
He was one
people.
of my
From a bloodline.
but how do I cheer that on?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I'm on both sides,
Yeah.
and I'm it's
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
so it was always my halfness was a colonizer half, so not the but the Spanish one. So the one you get passive aggressiveness from people with 333 years of colonization.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you do study Spanish colonialists, they fucked the country up so bad, made Filipinos forget who they were.
True.
Mhm.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, erased a
So,
lot of stuff.
A lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of culture and
So
arts.
interesting growing up for you, a mix of, I guess, easy
Yeah,
stuff
white
and
deal.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
I
then-
think that's it.
For Nathan, more of
I think
How
he
was it?
wanted to talk
Yeah.
about the special Tagalog class. Were you part of that class, or were you offered it?
No, I was always offered that, but I never wanted to because it was alienating. Like you further alienating yourself from everyone.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Like putting yourself apart. Then you would sit with the other, because
foreigners din ba?
because
Yeah.
I was in international Philippine school, so you have other nationalities, and they're the ones who take those special Filipino classes.
So this is when you're already in the Philippines.
No, this was back in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, there's
when
a
I
Filipino
moved here.
school there. Oh, okay.
When I
Okay.
moved here,
Okay.
it was also offered to me in UST, but I didn't want to take that.
Okay.
I would be with the Koreans and with the other nationals, and I just didn't want to do
Why
that.
was it mandatory to study Filipino Tagalog if you're in a Filipino university here?
It's a minor
Yeah.
subject, yeah.
It's a minor
So
It's a
you have
minor.
to take
Yeah.
it no matter what to complete.
What nationality? Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Oh,
No way.
I'm a foreigner." I don't need to take. No, but they have a special.
It's okay, super
Like
easy,
basic,
open
super-
textbook,
Yeah.
exams and stuff.
The only problem when I had moving here was my seatmate and my best friend in college. He was from Laguna,
Okay.
and their Tagalog apparently has no katinig, patinig, or all of that stuff. Like there was no past tense, present tense, or future tense. Like it was just the same.
So you were learning from
So
someone
I was
else.
learning wrong Filipino. Like
At least it was Tagalog. It was not
yeah, but the
Yeah.
thing was, even for other people, they would like have a hard time talking to this guy.
Yeah.
Like he would ask questions like, "Nakain ka ba?" Like,
Yeah.
like nakain ka ba ng pansit canton? So like
Yeah.
it could be even
Formal Tagalog, mali siya.
like
it's
formal
wrong.
Tagalog,
Yeah.
that's wrong. Like he could
Yeah.
be asking you, "Do you eat pancit canton or have you eaten pancit
Okay,
canton? Do
okay.
you want to eat?" All the same meaning. It's
Yeah.
like everything. Nalaro ka ba ng video games?
I need to go to Laguna.
Mashed up all in
will,
one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like mashed up all in one.
Yeah.
It's like, are you asking me naglalaro ba ako or naglaro ba ako? No, it's just nalaro ka ba? Napunta ka ba ng Cubao?
So like our Tagalog would be very good in Laguna.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Like we don't
Okay.
need to
Yeah.
worry about the
We
past
like
tense,
Bacatas,
present.
and we
Yeah,
like,
like
the laurel leaves around their heads.
like you,
You know.
it's like, what are you trying to say? It's up to you to figure it out. What I'm asking you.
Yeah, but now it's very staple now in Philippines that most people know English anyway. So I think you can always navigate that route when it comes to conversing with someone. I mean, Filipino people talk to me in Tagalog. Like I know I'm like the furthest one. I mean, I think I am. I don't look Filipino at all, but people always assume I'm Filipino and she's the
Put it
foreigner.
together. Yeah.
But I think I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing it from a lens of like coming from the Middle East, but I don't know. It's but English. The English here of everyone is really good. I can't complain
Perfect.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to everywhere else, it is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go
it's
to any
the
other Asian
easiest,
country.
like to navigate,
Yeah.
even in palenques or wet markets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
like there is still even a certain level of minimal English
yeah.
that they
Just the-
could
The
use.
basic
Yeah.
English to get someone by asking for directions,
Like,
etc.
if you've been to other places like in Hong Kong or even the Middle East, like zero, like literally
yeah.
zero.
You'll have to point out or do something graphic for them to
I think you
understand.
just need to like perfect 4 sentences,
Mm.
and then you just perfect the pronunciation of those 4 sentences, and the rest you could just do like and just point at stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
yeah.
then they're just gonna assume that he just doesn't want to talk. Is this that's what I.
That's true.
You know, like just
That's applicable. That's applicable. I don't know for Janine, but that's applicable for me in Arabic.
Mm.
Like, okay, I can speak Arabic, but I don't speak it really well. And then when we start going to certain dialects and other things, there's already that difficulty. So
Yeah.
just minimize what you say and keep it. So let them feel like I
Keep
just don't
it
want to
simple.
talk.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
no one wants to actually like no one speaks the grammar. No one speaks formal, like what you're taught in school, whatever language it is. No one
Yeah.
speaks like that.
True.
Yeah.
No one speaks like that. Like
Yeah.
if you go to the speak in the streets, like a colloquial or like street
slang, yeah.
No one speaks like that.
100%.
Like, there are a lot. I have a lot of friends who like learn French, and then they go to France, and then it's totally different.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very different from textbook French. So like, what's the point? I mean,
No,
this-
excuse me. Lebanese say that they speak the proper French.
Ah.
They like to
True. Out of everyone.
out of everyone.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the
Lebanese
Moroccans,
are
no, we speak
French
it better than them.
speakers.
It's like
yeah.
you guys were like the. I heard that
The
Beirut was the
Paris.
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 The Middle
Sorry,
East.
that was brought to you by the local
The streets of the
tricycles,
Philippines.
like we-
What is the motorcycle company here? The Anghas?
Angkas.
Angkas.
Oh no, that was
Yeah.
a tricycle.
Ah, that was a
That's
tricycle. Okay, sorry.
That
so that's
sounds
a
unique.
motorcycle connected to a cab.
Yeah.
And
Like a tuk-tuk, but
And
in
that
a different
motorcycle
way.
can carry like 8 people on it
Yeah.
inside.
It's like a tok-tok, but no slavery involved.
pretty good.
Ouch.
Brought to you by them, guys.
Brought to you by the
hear, like a
Canadians.
couple there.
Yeah.
So like every time you hear that, that's like we're gonna mention the sponsors and
Yeah.
that's it. This imagine that was post edited and that's our
And we
Right,
just
right,
brought
right,
it in. Yeah. Growing up here or just being here, any sort of prejudice na you guys have experienced? We were just talking about this earlier. Maybe we start with you.
Special
Okay.
treatment.
Yeah.
Like special
In what
treatment.
way?
Like doors get open for you. You know, people come up to you and they always offer to help you.
Wait, so that's special treatment? Because I thought it was a very normal thing here. Because like,
Dude, that's special
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
Mm.
okay,
That's special treatment for people like
It's privileged.
Look
dude.
different.
so they
Yeah.
don't do it for any
No,
Filipino.
no,
Because
no, no,
if I'm in
They
SM
assume that you
department
might
store,
have money to tip.
Yeah.
Like because before comedy, I used to help. I used to like do a lot of real estate side hustle
Okay.
jobs where I'd inspect properties and buildings. And I think one of my favorite things was like, I get annoyed when I have to leave my ID. Sometimes I just walk through, and they just assume that I live there, but I don't. Like, I don't have money. I can't afford this place. I have no money at all to rent this place. Like, I only have like 100, less, sometimes 80 pesos in my pocket, and this place like costs like 30K or 50K per month.
Right.
Sort
But
of thing.
because you look
And it's
white.
like, 'cause I look like a foreigner. It helped my job. Like, I cut a lot of time. You know,
A lot of the security checks.
it just it's oh my God, what's the worst you could do?
Yeah, I know, I know.
Like,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
it's very racist against their own people if you think about it.
Right.
Because like, yeah, stop. Like, what if I steal shit?
Yeah.
I would make a great,
Yeah.
like,
But it's always been a thing. Like the Filipinos put a lot of nationalities on a pedestal. But you saying that because like even I go to SM department store and I'm buying underwear, which I think is a very private thing.
oh, they do that to everyone. They do that. To
Okay,
everyone. That's not only-
Because they
that's not
always
a
come
race
to me
thing.
and they always stand
They
beside
have
me
a
like.
quota.
Oh,
They
okay,
have a
that's
certain
why.
quota.
That's why. So they really.
Yeah,
I
but-
had they sign it at the
Yeah,
end
they-
before you
but
pick it up.
notice
What's the
the
size of your
extra
brief?
greeting. But you could notice the extra greeting from the security guards when you walk in.
Yeah.
And they're not required to do that.
Yeah.
They
Mm.
would.
I said.
Yes, hi sir. They would
Yeah.
pop up like, oh, like restaurants. That's the normal thing. Like anyone who walks in, they would greet. But it's from the security guards and like parking. The way they assist you to find parking. That's when you know, like, okay, they're being extra kind, extra
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So today we had a similar incident where I put tire pressure. No, sorry, air in the tire pressure. And the guy was so nice, and he just kept waving as I was going away, and he just kept watching and just smiling and
Smiling.
waving.
Then your
Yeah.
wallet was gone.
Like, where are
thing
my
is-
car keys?
I don't necessarily feel they expect a tip.
Right.
You can feel that. You can feel like they expect a tip coming towards them.
Mm.
But a lot of times, no. I don't feel like there's any pressure that you have to tip.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I do tip. You know, I work in the restaurant business. I do tip.
Yeah.
But I don't feel it that way. So
Right.
it's genuine hospitality from
Right.
Filipinos.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's not only in genuine. It's right. It's genuine hospitality. But then I feel like from a young age, we're all kind of conditioned, in a way to always be like, in restaurants, like the managers always tell their staff to smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're having a shitty day. Like people have, berated you. And you're just smile.
You know, here, like, I work in the restaurant industry, right? So in Dubai, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
In Dubai and in Saudi Arabia, they ask specifically for Filipinos.
Right. That's
Em-
so true.
Employers,
Yeah.
they like if someone, a Saudi businessman or an Emirati wants to open up a restaurant or a business, they specifically search and seek Filipino staff.
And they do straight recruiting from here as well.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and the reason for that is because of the hospitality and the friendliness and the service that they provide. And another racist thing is because Filipinos are clean. That's what they say. This is what they really like. Oh, Filipinos are clean. They take a bath. So that's
I
just
never
so-
thought of that part.
Yeah.
That's just some racist shit.
Yeah.
But priority, it's because of the friendliness and the hospitality. that's
Hospitality
in
and the
Filipinos.
service. that
So what
Filipinos
Aldo was saying
provide,
is
yeah.
like really true. It's like it's
Yeah.
ingrained in Filipinos that
Tradition.
ma'am sir,
Yeah.
That was born out of the hospitality here, right? The mamser.
But the thing is, because our economy really relied a lot of times on foreign tourists, and that was like a huge chunk of our,
I think it's colonial mentality. I really think it's
that's what it also is.
Just getting, I'll try to swear less. Getting colonized by, like the Spanish, the Japanese, and then
Chinese.
He's doing that. It's like
States.
bowing to your masters.
colonized.
Yeah.
The Americans, the Spanish, and the Japanese, they all colonized.
Yeah.
The British for like 2 or 3 years, I think, and then they were just fighting with Spain, but they gave it back to Spain. But yeah.
Basically everyone.
So this being colonized by multiple, and for maybe 4 centuries, almost 5 centuries. Even today, we're sort of still colonized if you think about it. Like we're still a colony. If you think
So well
what's the
said.
term that they
That
gave
is
us?
so well said.
It's still like neo-colonialism.
It's being called Indio.
Yeah,
and then
being
the
called
Spanish
Indio.
like saying Indio, you guys are lower class people, and then they were always the higher
I
one.
never thought of it like that.
Well,
That is
Indio
so.
India means Indian. You know why? Because was it Columbus who went to? He was planning to go to India, but he went the wrong way. He
Right.
ended up in the West. It was not. he ended up in South America, right? And then he was like, "Oh, I'm in India. You guys are Indians." No, we're like Oaxaca.
Basically, they were looking for Indians, and they
and they
just
ended up
called
in South
everyone.
America.
Right,
So
right, right.
Called us Indios here.
So their derogatory term for all their subjects in South America are also Indio. If you go to Dominican Republic, I think they're also called Indio.
Okay.
And in Philippines is also Indio. Why are you calling us Indians? But it's the ignorance of white
True.
colonizers.
True.
The way they used it was derogatory, like Indio.
Imagine being called a race that you're not,
Mm.
and it's
It is very
hateful.
insulting to a lot of people still, you know, like when you confuse the Chinese and Japanese, they get very angry at that. As South Korean as well. But yeah. But
It's like they're forming another.
Sorry.
go.
Oh, sorry. There was a Saudi man, and he came here,
okay.
and I was working in Century Park Hotel, right? So I knew he was Saudi, and then one of the staff in the front desk just wanted to, converse with him, and he goes like, "Oh, are you Egyptian?"
Okay.
And then the Saudi guy's like, "Let me give you some advice.
Oh no. I know what's gonna happen then.
When you guess an Arab's nationality, guess any, but never say, are you Egyptian?"
Oh no.
And I was like, "Oh my god, this is one of the most racist things I'm hearing." But I was laughing, but it was so racist.
That is such an Arab racist
and
thing
you
to say.
understand it.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Asian racism and white people racism, but I'm familiar with white people racism and Asian racism,
Right.
but I'm not familiar with Arab racism.
Right.
What's the situation? Who are the
Who are the most racist?
who are the most
Lebanese.
racist? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You're the Americans of no, is that right?
We
Yeah,
just-
that's actually
Yeah,
Europeans.
Lebanese
Really?
look up to themselves, like they put themselves on a
Pedestal.
super high pedestal
Yeah.
because we think we're
Culture.
not Arabs.
We're culture.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
so it's
cultured.
Phoenicians.
We're Phoenicians. We're not like as everyone else.
Oh, so basically,
Yeah.
Filipinos here who have had a
This is how we say it. This is how we say it.
European
Yes.
education.
This is how we say it.
The
Ando
Ilustrados,
class. Ando class.
Ahla balad. It's the
So these
best
are
country.
The rich Lebanese who went and studied in France and then
No,
they
fuck
went
no,
like
no,
that.
no.
Not even.
No,
Yeah.
like here, I'll tell you, let me
Yeah.
show you. I could be educated. No, I'm educated. I went to the university. I've been to several different countries. I can speak 3 languages. But there could be a Lebanese who has never sets foot in any university or any school, hasn't gone outside his village. But the moment he finds out that I'm half Filipino, he's better than me. Like in his mind,
Yeah.
he's better than me.
Yeah.
There are instances like that. Like not everyone, but there are instances that I've met people like that.
I would say the older generation, majority of them are still like that. You could see the shift starting to happen. I mean, with every nation, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like now, people are more woke, as they say. We have the internet, the new generation starting to understand, the different dynamics. But older generation, yes,
Yeah.
Lebanese, and then everyone else. Maybe Europeans, they look up to Europeans, but as
Yeah.
everyone else,
Even the
Yeah.
Spanish, they have this because my parents both speak Spanish, and my mom was talking about a phrase, and the phrase is very racist because it dates back to Inquisition, not Inquisition. There's a time when the Moors took over Spain and they introduced great things like the university system, Alhambra, beautiful architecture, Muslim, and then the Spanish drove them out. Reconquista, I forgot the term. I think it was Reconquista. I could be wrong. And they drove the Moroccans, I think, out of Spain, and the Moors. And there's this phrase called, if you're talking, let's say we're talking, and suddenly someone comes and they might be eavesdropping. You say, "Hay moros en la costa." There are Moors in the coast. Hay moros. There are Muslims in the coast.
right?
And
Okay.
because Spain has a coastline that shares with North Africa.
Right.
And imagine until today, I don't know if the present Spaniards, like our generation, Gen Z Spaniards or millennial Spaniards use that, but old people definitely use that term, "Hay moros en la costa." Like,
It's a
Quiet.
saying that has been passed on.
Yeah, like be careful. Like
There's
there's
people
like
yeah,
each drop one,
yeah.
and even they're not. They could be any race, and then there's like ay moros and
We're just targeting
Moro.
them for some reason.
Yeah, even like if you go to Fort Santiago, I think Santiago there's an emblem and a man on a horse killing, and there's a Muslim underneath, and it's called a Matamoro, Muslim killer.
No way.
If you look at Fort Bonifacio, that fort,
right,
because like when they Spain had like this whole war with the Muslims of North Africa. They drove them out. They were like, yeah, we're Spanish, woo, viva España, for the crown. And then they go all the way to South America. Then they end up in the Philippines. Oh, they're Muslims here too. It's like, holy shit, they're everywhere. So like they're fending off, like, I guess the Muslims of Mindanao, and I think it was spreading to Visayas. So like, I guess one of their campaigns was to spread Catholicism, and as a way to combat
whatever was
Islam.
happening. Yeah.
So it was very racist.
With the use of violence.
Yeah, if you look at a lot of old sculptures, Spanish stuff, it's like Matamoro. It's like, that's like how can you be proud of that? Like,
Since you just mentioned that as well, and I know there's this place here called Negros Occidental. Is that the same thing?
I grew up in Negros.
But is it?
I'm the whitest man on that island.
No, but okay, but
Yeah.
saying that and stuff, like
No.
the word Negros, was it actually
I think some Spaniard just went
tied
like,
to actually the N word, and
Negro means black. That's what it means. So Negros is
so it's something very similar
Black,
to
plural,
what you
blacks.
guys are talking about.
the island is called Blacks.
It's just so funny because you bring that up, Negros, right?
Yeah,
Well, it's Negros. Negro does mean what it is.
I know,
Anywhere you go. You know how messed up this is? Jenny should know this. There's a dessert in Lebanon that's called Ras Al Abad.
Yeah.
okay.
We don't call that anymore.
We don't call it anymore.
Yeah.
See, so there's
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah.
For the longest time, there was this beloved dessert. We have it here in the Philippines.
Like it's like a black sambo.
It's the head of the Negro. That's what
It's
it
the
means.
direct translation.
The direct translation of Ras Al Abad is head of the Negro.
Yeah.
And it's
No
from,
way.
It's also from Spain.
I feel like
It's also from Spain. And you know where you can get it here?
Spanish,
You can get it in Dolcine.
Oh,
They have it. Dolcine, yeah.
It's like it's like melted marshmallow inside
it's
and
like
covered
an
with
Italian or
chocolate,
melted marshmallow
Yeah.
covered with dark chocolate.
dark chocolate
Racism made
outside.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
called. It's literally translated to head of the
marshmallows.
Negro.
Yes.
Diabetes. but-
So in Lebanon, they call it Ras Al Abad, and they just shout it out with this free like
Yeah.
oh, Ras Al Abad. Oh, this
Like
is so
here
good.
when you say taho, there
Yeah,
it's like Ras Al
and it's
Abad.
everywhere. And then lately they changed the name to Tarbush
Yeah.
because
Okay.
that's the Lebanese cap.
Right.
that no one wears, but it's significant to
Yeah.
our culture before. So that's what they call it now, Tarbush. But for the longest time, it was Ras Al Abad. Here's the funny thing: our household, my parents agreed that we'd only speak English
Okay.
because, to be fair, like the kids wouldn't be taught Filipino or Arabic, so English.
Okay.
So my parents spoke English with us, even if they were struggling with it. So I would be in the grocery store with my dad. And then we would be in the Lebanese grocery store. And then he would see Ras Al Abad, the sweet, and he would shout at me, Nathan, go get the head of the Negro. Go get the head of the Negro.
In public.
In public, he would be shouting, go get the head of the Negro. I'm like, fuck's wrong with you?
And there's a black guy over there. He's
Yeah, like, I'm looking at it, like, get the head of the Negro. Get the head of the Negro.
Yeah, but all cultures, they all have like that racist snack.
Yeah.
Like recently there's a restaurant nearby, Filipino owned.
Okay.
And the name of the pasta was squid ink pasta, so it's black. It was called Mr. Egoy pasta.
What's egoy? Okay, now you have
So
to.
that's a racist derogatory term for a black person.
Oh,
and, like,
man.
Mr.
Filipino
Point
slang.
The term.
It's a slang term.
Okay.
I don't know where it comes from. I don't know the etymology.
There's also a Filipino. Sorry, no, it's not a Filipino, but I saw this chocolate bar which is called Filipinos.
It's
or
a
some-
Spanish snack.
Okay,
it's a
it's not
Spanish
derogatory or
Just a
anything.
side note, you know why the Filipinos call Indians pana in Dubai?
No.
Do you know that's only uniquely to Dubai?
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's arrow, right? Bow and arrow.
Do you hear anyone in the Philippines refer to Indians as pana?
Pana.
No.
It's such an old person thing to say.
No, it's a Dubai,
Dubai
thing.
thing.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
only in Dubai, not even in Saudi. Even in Saudi, they don't call Indians or Bengalis as pana. It's only in Dubai. And when I went there, I found out why. There was a movie in the 70s
Okay.
that was called Pana. and it featured an Indian. And it's a Filipino movie. It's a
Okay,
70s
okay,
movie.
okay.
And I think one of the protagonists was an Indian. I think was a half Indian Filipino.
Okay.
So OFWs that moved to Dubai, the struggle. Like they come up with a word, like they would call them Indiano or Ambajo,
Yeah.
and then they learn. Like
Yeah.
the locals start to
Oh,
learn.
But now they do. They do know.
They
When
do
you
it,
say
right?
pana, they know.
Now they know it,
Yeah.
right? But for a
Yeah.
time, they had to think of a word
to
describe
describe them,
them.
right?
that they wouldn't know that they're talking about them, and they
Yeah.
used pana because of that movie in the 70s. So it's a very
So
Dubai.
crazy.
It's a very Dubai thing.
Yeah, I've heard it all, like 5-6, Bombay, all those kinds of words as well.
Well, those are common here, but you don't get pana here. Pana was like only when I went to Dubai.
Then you,
I was like, pana, what the hell? Like they assumed I knew. Like pana, what the hell? It's a pana.
Do you have a favorite racist term that someone come to you? I don't know. Oh, that was creative.
No, actually.
I'll have to think of that too. Like I think there's sometimes they get creative to the point where it kind of gets funny.
yeah.
Like in my instance,
it's
when I
something
mentioned,
offensive.
like when I mentioned to you that someone told me na mukha ko manyakis just because of my facial features, I look like
The balbas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just so racist, offensive that it made me laugh. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. It's
To
like,
just laugh at that, like
Yeah.
okay,
no, but I know, like,
You
no,
know
I don't
what
get
maniac
it.
is mean, right? Maniac.
pervert, man.
Yeah.
Like
Like, yeah, like a
It's like
yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
a
But more
rabid-
pervert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nowadays it means less maniac, but more like
Pervert.
yeah, pervert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a creepy
Someone who,
Creep.
uncle.
Yeah.
Thing.
While you're
Okay.
in the bathroom or something.
Okay. Peeping Tom.
Or like someone who like touches you or something. It's a
Right,
maniac.
right.
It comes from maniac, I think, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm going to circle back to
Yeah, let's go back to the
Okay.
comment because this is the golden hour.
No, I wanted to touch upon-
much more like at the moment,
Because we're talking
I
about
love
racism.
that. I love that, actually,
We're talking
yeah.
about racism and how the culture before and now the shift is happening with the new generation. How do you guys move about that with your comedy?
Okay, I know it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong that I wish they would be more racist, so I could still do a lot of more jokes. Because there are a lot of things that the younger generation do not associate with, nationalities, with certain nationalities. They no
Right.
longer stereotype
Right.
that way.
Yeah.
So there are some jokes that I tried that wouldn't land with younger generations compared to older generations.
Right.
And that's just because they're being, more informed. They're, woke.
Yeah.
I won't say woke in a negative way because it's actually better that they're, more understanding.
Yeah,
Yes.
getting out
more
of the shell and
open-minded,
everything.
progressive. They're more progressive, yeah. So you need to put a spin on it. Like you could still be racist, but it has to be funny.
Yeah, be funny.
That's
Yeah.
it. Like the bottom line is to be funny. So a lot of my material still relies on me being half Arab, and I still find a way to connect it to them as Filipinos. Being half Filipino, there's not that big struggle for me because I'm still Filipino. So it's still possible.
I think like in the Philippines it's not as bad as the States. I think like everyone gets this notion that cancel culture is out to get you, and it's actually not. It's not that strong here. Like in the States, it will mess your career.
100%.
Like over here, has anyone like had their career broken yet?
Okay,
because of,
here's
like
the thing.
cancel culture. Like
No, there is no cancel culture yet.
I mean, like
But
people-
there is a strong LGBTQ presence and
Yeah.
feminism.
Mhm.
So I feel that these are sensitive topics, especially here in the Philippines.
But there are LGBT comics as well.
There are,
right?
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that
Yeah.
these are where it gets a little bit
Dicey
more
and
difficult
everything.
to,
To navigate.
I noticed the ones who do get angry are usually like very Americanized Filipinos.
That is true.
very like you could tell that these are
They're the
Tumblr-
ones who are
people
vocal
from Tumblr.
and very noisy.
You know that the culture.
Yeah, who
where
have
it's
to
like-
get offended on behalf of
that's wrong.
someone.
Get
Like,
offended.
that's just to answer if has been any backlash, right? But racism is on the table always.
He said backlash. That was true. That was homophobic.
But for Filipino audience, racism always flies.
100%.
100%. Like
Yeah.
you,
But not- but
like
some-
a comedian would do a woman joke and somebody might find it offensive or they may not really like it. You could do a LGBTQ joke and someone may find it untasteful. But a racism joke will always fly.
But the jokes that do get tagged, the ones that do get you in trouble here by mainstream, like, common people who would get mad at, would be religion and politics.
Okay.
That's the
Yes, I see
that's
that.
a
Yeah.
hard
I see that.
territory.
Yeah.
More than LGBT, like LGBT,
That's
yes.
very small.
If it's like hate, if it's hate speech and there's no punchline, yeah, of course, like anyone, even like non-LGBT people would like call it out. But if like when there's no structure, there's no like punchline, it's just like, oh, that's just hate speech against gay.
He's just doing it to get
Like,
that.
yes, even like
Factor.
non-gay people would be like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
But the ones that do get like people like
Riled
mad
up, yeah.
is politics and religion, mostly religion. And they will like share it to their religious community, and they will come at you with a vengeance. Like
Okay.
it's very
a lot of religious zealots.
yeah.
And you
They're the
can
ones who massage
and you know
your
how
back.
zealots will react.
Yeah.
That's a given reaction. You know that they are going to come at you.
So
They are going to attack you.
So just for everyone, I performed as well at Meshwe. Did I say it right?
Right.
And there was this comedian who did speak about. He had a whole bit about doing this with I think I'm gonna cut out a little bit of this part, but there was this guy. What was his name?
Gold Dagal.
Gold Dagal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did a whole joke about he was dating this girl.
Yeah,
Who
from
was-
one of the
Denomination.
Yeah, one of the
Denominations.
nominations,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that so
yeah.
that story is true. Like people actually came for him.
No, they never did.
They overdid. Yeah, they were like death threats,
Online-
death threats.
Yeah, but that was there. The death threats were there.
Online threats, online death threats. Yeah,
That's crazy.
They're not allowed. That religious group, they're not allowed to eat a certain food. So like when you go into the bar, we have that food. Like to enter, you have to.
like the first
But
show
that's-
he did. That's what he was like. You gotta take a shot.
Okay,
Not bad,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
It was the
okay,
first
okay.
show that we ever got
Extra
three bodyguards, like bag checks. It was the first.
No way.
Like, people-
And then when people would buy tickets, we would do background checks on their Facebook pages.
Just to be sure.
Just to be sure, we
Just
don't want
to be
anyone
sure.
dying or getting hurt in our shows. Like we're responsible as producers.
Right. Of
Like,
course.
Even though we know that these people are not, they're, all talk, all
You can
fart,
never
no
be too
shit.
sure.
But
though,
in
when it
fairness,
comes to
these
safety,
are just
yeah.
the online trolls because we do have audience members who are a part of this
Denomination.
this denomination, and they do laugh and they do enjoy watching comedy. So it's just a very niche,
Yeah, some
Yeah.
extremists.
The zealots.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's for every
The fanatics.
That's true. That's
every religion and every organization, every group has fanatics,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they would jump up.
It's
to,
just so funny because like he called them out for like, hey, you guys are like, it's like you're a cult, and they're like, they just responded with cult-like behavior.
Yeah, so just like added.
It was just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
just like proving his point.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's proving his point, right?
Yeah, but those are the two topics that people really take to heart, especially here, politics. That's a tough subject, especially when you're siding with a specific party, for example.
Yeah, people like to defend dictators here. They like
Yeah.
the iron.
how do I
class.
explain this? We're not there yet to Lebanon levels,
Mm.
but scaringly we are approaching.
Mm.
Where
We have dictators too.
oh no, it's the thing is
The
in-
French-speaking
in Lebanon
dictators.
we have a lot of groups,
Yeah.
political
Of
groups
parties, yeah.
and parties that are sectarianism. It's based on religion, and the followers get so fanatic of the leaders. They worship. Like it's a cult of
Almost,
personality thing.
Yeah.
So it's that level. Like they would display in their houses pictures of
The
these people, the
leaders,
leaders,
yeah.
and they would just blindly cult-like behavior.
Yeah.
So
Leaders should cool down.
these latest years in the Philippines, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Scary.
Like you'd have
Yeah.
people like diehard, just a follower, a fan of this certain figurehead,
Mm.
and like no questions asked what he does.
But
Like,
it's just so funny that recently the two biggest dictator, the
biggest
politicians
names.
started fighting each other. So Marcos and Duterte recently
Clash
started
of
clashing
clans.
with each other, and Duterte, the past dictator, he wasn't an official dictator, but he
Yeah,
the past
thousands,
president.
yeah.
thousands of Filipinos to this drug war,
Right.
and a lot of innocent people as well. And he called out the present president and said, "Hey, you're a cocaine addict. All the military people in the country know that you're a cocaine addict." And he replied, "But you're a fentanyl addict." And so they're like, cocaine addict, fentanyl addict, and they're both right.
It's
They're
so
just pointing at each
ridiculous
other.
that it's funny.
I didn't know about that.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, because Duterte, like on TV, he admitted that he abuses fentanyl patches because it's like I'm floating in the air, And then
really? Okay.
Duterte also
allegedly says
allegedly
that our current president
For legal purposes,
Is a
allegedly.
cocaine.
But there are stories that he supplied drugs to, because he used to be a party boy in London. He used to party with like a lot of rock bands and like he would
this
be-
is
like,
70s
Duterte?
in
era.
the 70s. No, Marcos.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay.
there are stories about him, because he's a huge rock fan.
Yeah.
He's a huge rock
Mhm.
fan. I don't think he wanted to be president. I think he just wanted to be a musician. And I feel like the family's like, no, you're the eldest boy. You
Yeah.
become the president. It's like,
Or maybe this is the
what?
closest thing you can get to rock star status.
Do you know that the Beatles came to the Philippines
Yeah.
Okay.
during martial law, and they performed here in the height of Beatlemania, and like the mom of the president now said, "Hey, do a courtesy gig in our, we have a party,
Okay.
come." And the Beatles like, no, they didn't go. So like Imelda and
Yeah.
they got very offended. Like, how dare you? How dare you? Like they're the
Okay.
this is the family.
Do you know who we are? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the next day, they were like the Beatles. All band members were given the hardest time going back home. Like no one helped them carry their stuff. They I think it was Manila International Airport at the time. They stopped the elevators. They turned it off, so they had to climb the stairs and their luggage and their equipment, all the drums. Ringo's like
Oh wow.
I didn't know
fucking
this
hell.
story. That's
Ringo
a
is
crazy
very
story.
vocal about his experience here in the Philippines.
Okay.
Like he talks about it with disdain.
Okay.
Paul doesn't. Paul McCartney is actually
Okay.
more. Ringo is
political about
like,
it. Yeah.
hell no, I'm not going back.
Wow.
You just search it up. Like Ringo. is
Okay.
very
That's cool. That's an interesting
vocal
story I
about
can check about.
his whole experience of the Philippines. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe let's just go back on how you guys started your comedy here. You've been in the comedy scene, as you said earlier.
Almost 10 years.
10 years.
And he's a full-time comedian as well. now.
Full-time comedian. Nathan,
I'm fairly new. This is my third year.
he calls himself fairly new, but I saw him perform, guys, and hopefully you guys would get a chance to see him
Bay from
as
Beirut.
well. Yes. How is it starting into the comedy scene almost 10 years ago?
Wait, before we go, I want to say I'm not a comedian who's the best or anything, but when I first saw these guys, I saw Aldo I think in 2018 when I first met him. So I went to an open mic. It was an open mic show. I was all alone. This was also when I started comedy, so I just wanted to see what was happening here. So I was under an impression that comedy here is like like Nathan and I were talking about, like the whole drag queen situation. They come on stage, they roast the audience. There's a lot of prop comedy involved and everything like that. So when I started doing comedy, I'm like, you know what? Let me. I was going to visit the Philippines at that time, so I'm like, let me go check out what the scene is. So of course I just did some quick research and I saw that I found his profile, and then there was an upcoming show, and every comedian was speaking in Tagalog. I was trying my best to understand because my Tagalog at that point wasn't really good, and then I saw him and you had like the most English out of everyone, so I resonated with him a lot. He had such funny jokes, and I'm like, this guy is so good. And then after the show, I don't know if you remember, I approached you and I told you I'm a comedian from Dubai and I would love to do a spot with you. And then I think the day after was a show, and I think it was at Moe's. I think it must have been at Moe's if I'm not mistaken. And then I did a few minutes, and that's how I became friends with Aldo. And
How
then
you knew of him?
with Nathan was so random because we were in the same room with Timmy, and we were just chilling, Janine and I, Timmy, and I can't remember if 8 was there, but we were just talking, and then she tells about, oh, there's this new comedian who's up and coming. He's half Filipino, half Lebanese, and she tells us your name, and then she's like, oh yeah, you can find him on Instagram. His name is Shwar Machine. I'm like, Shwar Machine? That's so funny. I love it. And then that's when I heard about you, and then obviously I followed you, and then I just kept just checking in to see what is the scene over here, and then we were coming back, and then the Palestine show was happening, and I wanted to do a spot, so I messaged Aldo as well, and he hooked me up. So, but okay, now that's sorry. That
You
was
wanted to put a preface on how it was. So
yeah, just how I got introduced to them
I
and
guess
how I
for
actually
you
met
two,
them.
You've seen the growth as well.
Oh yeah. Like,
when we
to
met,
now,
like,
yeah.
I asked for money and he gave. So that's our friendship started from there.
you're like this one Indian guy. He must have money.
Yes, can I borrow 5? And
6. And that's how his business started. Yeah.
Now he lives in the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, I wish. I'll
Yeah,
just jump up in there.
pretend.
That's it.
Yeah.
His room is a spike.
We can pretend
Trying-
that with the,
just at the top.
he lives in the
the
spike.
cone side.
Yeah.
No walls around. We just on the spike.
It's like, no walls, no windows.
So how did you start your whole comedy journey, or what drove you to doing stand-up comedy?
Like I've always wanted to do something artistic, and then comedy was the cheapest. You know,
Right.
it's like as Ryan Rems would say, all you need is pen, paper, and guts. And I had money for pen and paper, and I had some guts to spare, I guess. And yeah, so it was like a buddy from my college, because we both were in literature. He invited me over for open mic, and I did my first open mic, and you just get hooked. Like comedians, like that feeling, the first time, whether you kill or not, like whether it's a good set, bad set, you get that rush, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to do that again. If
So you killed on your first time?
I
Or
I
did
did a
well?
really good set. And
Wow.
then every other set after that was bad.
Okay.
So I was like, oh fuck, it was that first timer's luck. And then I just got to writing, and then I would talk to the veterans of the scene, and they would give me tips. And then don't be afraid to bench your material and dig deep and write new ones. And then you just you develop your material over time. Just keep on doing it.
Right.
The only way to get better at it is don't read comedy books. Don't read. I haven't read any comedy books
Okay.
actually. Thinking about it, you just do it. There's no other way but to do it, and again and die a million deaths, and and then get reborn a million times,
Right.
until your material, hopefully, in 10 years you get funny enough to have a career. And
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't happen. There's no promise. That's the thing with comedy. It's such a gamble of your time sometimes.
So true. And there's people who've like only gotten the recognition they deserve after like 20, 30 years of doing comedy. Some of them are just, like
Such a long
within a
game.
first year of doing comedy, they're like, whoa, I'm already getting booked. I already have a manager, all those kinds of things. So it really, really depends. And if you can find your target audience and
The career it's such a meandering career.
Yeah.
It's like it brings you
It's not
to
linear,
weird
right? It's
places.
like-
Like,
yeah.
I've done so many weird gigs where I've done a gig in a funeral parlor. I've done a gig in the street. I've done a gig in where else? Just the other side. I can't remember off the top of my head now.
right.
Yeah, just a lot of you do. It's funny where comedy takes you.
Yeah.
You know.
And
to
who it
his- to
connects
his
you with.
restaurant.
Yeah.
There was this Lebanese restaurant I performed at.
I'm just mad because it's so far away. It's in
Okay,
North
okay,
Fairview.
yeah.
Everyone's hating on Fairview.
It's so far.
I've realized that just like the past
Because I
few
ride the
days.
motorcycle.
The
I ride
municipality of Fairview should give me like special tax benefits because
You're bringing in people.
I'm bringing in
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
'Cause I know that I'm getting near to his restaurant when the streets start getting darker. Okay. Meshwe must be.
Must be
this is
5
Fairview.
minutes
Yeah,
away.
yeah, it's just a more graffiti now. Okay.
Like you could go to Google reviews and you would see people always bitching about our location.
Oh, okay. Like 5 for food, but 0 for location.
They always complain about
Okay.
where we're located.
Your new spot. I like your new spot now. Like it's because you could hang out in the parking lot now. It's like
But-
it feels
but,
safer. You get it feels safer.
But I must say the restaurant is I mean like I didn't know like there was this whole stigma about being in Fairview or
Fairview.
anything like that.
Oh,
So for
yeah,
me it was,
definitely.
and I'm not too I'm not too far because I'm like on that Don Antonio
Yeah.
Drive Road and
You're
so
very near. You're
so for me,
basically in the you're near it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because everyone was telling me like Timmy said leave now and it's like 6 and the call time is at
No, leave earlier. Yeah.
leave early, and then you also
Yeah.
said you better start leaving, getting ready soon.
It's
And I'm
notorious for being far.
like, yeah.
It's called Fairview, and people.
Then
It's
we were
actually
there
far.
so early.
Far. It's just that there's that
The bottleneck.
that bottle.
Yeah.
That's really
Exactly.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
like you have like 6-7 lane highways, but then it
Suddenly
it's-
condenses into that.
so what's
3
the point
lane.
of the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
lane? So it gives you the illusion that another lane will solve
True.
the traffic.
True.
another lane. Oh, it's still traffic. Let's another lane. But if the bottleneck is still the same,
Yeah, then it won't make any difference.
Philippines
You
traffic.
enter Fairview from Commonwealth Highway, and then it goes boom.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is Fairview. I'm here now.
no, wait, we didn't hear his origin story.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to that.
Oh yes.
I want to hear.
Sorry,
I
yeah.
want to hear your origin story as well.
I started online during the pandemic.
Mm.
The Zoom mics.
Was there something that made you say you watched or you heard or you've seen?
Or with like a comedy
comedian?
fanboy, like you were watching these guys?
So
and-
I've always been a fan of stand-up comedy.
Okay.
Like it has always been a part of, my consumption of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't watch horror movies. I really don't watch horror movies. I don't like gore movies. I just like comedies, and I love stand-up comedy. I
Like
watch a
food
lot
videos.
of that. Food, definitely. So I was always a fan of stand-up comedy. When they were doing open mics, pre-pandemic, I was familiar with them
Okay.
because my spot here was close to where they were doing open mic.
Okay.
But I just started the restaurant, so I couldn't make time for that because I was just focused on Meshwe.
Right.
So the pandemic happened, and people have more time.
Mm.
For me, which I've already told the story, it was a way for me to deal with my grief because I just lost my mom.
Okay.
Because I couldn't do any other activity without it reminding me of my mom.
Okay.
I couldn't cook. I couldn't do anything that I used to do and find joy in was already like miserable for me. So comedy was my escape. Like for comedy, that 1-2 hours we would do like a Zoom show. Like I would feel happy, I would laugh. And then to make other people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So these are emotions that throughout the day I don't feel. Because I'm just sad and I'm just in grief. And then you get to do that.
Mm.
So for me, it was that escape. That was
Right.
what comedy was for me in the
Very
beginning.
nice.
So that's how I started out.
Okay.
So it was a really coping mechanism, which was a healthy coping mechanism.
Yeah. Such a contrast, no?
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
grieving.
Yeah.
Comedy is
Yeah.
this way of like just a lot of miserable people gravitate. Like I remember just hanging out like with comedians. Like some of these people are so depressed. I mean, like same. Also, dealing with depression. People have grief, depression, like different variations of like sadness. But then like when they're together, it's fun because you could say anything to a comedian's face, and
No filter.
like no filter. Like when comedians are together, and you don't have to be on guard about what you say.
Right.
You're not walking on eggshells. You could just say whatever and like.
Like if people ever get offended what a comedian says on stage, if they only knew the things we say in the back amongst ourselves.
Right. I
with
know.
each
In the
other,
green room
in the
or
green
with,
room,
yeah, yeah.
like,
It's so
way-
hard to offend the comedian. I don't think you could offend the comedian. I don't think it's possible, like, unless it's like a Tumblr comedian. I don't know. Like it's. I've
like
never
like
heard
the
a
show
comedian-
in Meshwe. Everyone was like asking, "Oh, did Nathan get pissed off with Alexio?"
Ah, okay.
The thing was, I was the one who was laughing and laughing, and then he couldn't continue with his set because we were laughing nonstop.
Right,
but
right, right.
when he took that rip on me, see, it was just really funny. Like you can't really offend. Like if it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's why there's this the beautiful art of roasting. When you go and like head on with someone, just go and insult them, and you go really dig deep into their insecurities, and like you try to make fun of it. But for me, like roasting, I love the concept of roasting, and because I like how Jeffrey Ross says, you only roast the ones you love. Like these are the things that I can only tell you because we go way back or we know each other on a deeper level. And then it's like, oh, how did he think of that? That's so funny and stuff. So it's something like that, like. And then we all bond, of course, from the trauma that we face as like growing up, and
Yes,
we bond through insult. So like,
Yeah,
insulting each
yeah.
other.
It's so true.
It's a very. Yeah, there's more like. You ever get someone who just like kind of compliments you too much and is like, fuck off, just like stop it. I mean, I feel so uncomfortable.
yeah,
Like I feel a lot more myself if you're just like insulting me or like very like if it's a friend,
right,
if it's
right,
a random person, it's like fuck off.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're not that close. Don't.
That's
insult
true,
me.
that's
like,
true.
Don't roast me.
But at the same time, we're also very bad. I mean, at least for me, I'm very bad at taking compliments anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. Like
That's-
compliments it feels gross
Yeah.
sometimes. Like stop complimenting me. Like
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I or maybe it's we just don't have the shelf. Like a lot of comedians have low self-esteem. Also that's why
I
we
think
go
it's
up
just
on stage.
people not being used to being complimented.
Right.
Yeah.
So I try to make it a point to compliment people as much as I can.
Okay.
And just simple or small things. I find it to be healthier. Like I do roast a lot. Like people do know that when I start, yes.
Right.
But at the same time, I've learned recently like to be more giving and compliments, like to my staff or to I'm like an older millennial now. Yeah, I'm more gentle now, more toned down.
Yeah. And is that
No more of that.
I
It's
know.
more like
No more backroom meetings and like.
even with your hosting style, there's not a lot, like there were a couple of like roasting moments, but not like a lot of roasting, berating sort of.
Yeah,
The usual,
We
yeah.
have this thing that we're doing we started last year. So I was one of the producers. We did the roast battle.
Okay.
So it's ongoing now. Actually, this Saturday would be the third leg of the competition. So it's a roast battle where comedians compete against each other and we just do the roasting.
Right.
It's really fun. And I did the second leg. I was the guest roaster for that. So I had the privilege of just roasting all the contestants, the venue, and all the other comedians. It was just really pure, just roasting and fun. And everyone just had a good time. And like you said, it's easier to write roasts for people who you're closer to.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally because you
Yeah.
know what to say and you know this person more
Yeah.
Other
compared to the ones that I don't know that much. So my roasts for them were more physical appearance, like more what people can see.
first
and
impressions.
first impression
Exactly,
that
yeah.
the audience members,
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't also want to go too deep that no one can relate to.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Because we also have the concept of roast battles in Dubai. And when it first started, it's like the audience are coming, like they really don't know what roasting is.
That's the thing. It's like really hard to.
Exactly. It's not
Translate
like a
it to them.
super famous guy, like one guy sits on a throne and then people like insulting him. But like these are comedians, are open micers getting roasted, and the audience are like they're in the audience, like sitting there. I'm like, why are they so mean to each other? So it's a different art. You have to really explain it well in the beginning, or the host has to really make sure like it's coming from a place of love. These guys know what they're doing. They're best friends.
We're fortunate enough that all the audience members who come know that it's gonna be a
Okay,
roast.
and they're like maybe regular audience, so they know like these guys are friends. They
They are
Also,
more or less,
Filipinos like we love watching our neighbors fight.
We call
so,
that-
like it's like
We have a term for that. We have a term for that in the Philippines. Kanchawan.
Right.
Alaskahan.
Alaskahan is really old school. That's
Yeah.
I've never heard of this word.
that's old school.
Yeah.
It's kanchawan, like
Okay.
nagkakanchawan tayo. So it's not nagbibiruan because nagbibiruan is you joking.
Right.
Kanchawan means there's joking and teasing.
What's harutan?
Harutan's the same thing. Karutan.
Yeah.
Pero harutan is more physical. There's
Yeah.
that level of physical, like you're pinching.
More loving. It's not really
Yeah, or like you say
roasting.
that to kids, nagharutan kayo, like they're
Yeah.
being.
It's different from like
Kanchawan is purely just words,
verbal.
teasing, verbal.
Someone explained that. I don't know if it was you, but you said it was like flip top, but
Flip top is
like a comedic spin.
less cool.
Because that's what became famous here in the Philippines, diba? Flip top, which is like a rap battle, but within the rap battle you would sort of roast each other. So that was a good explanation because you already had something sort of famous in our culture. I mean, in the Philippine culture.
roasting is basically like flipped up without the rhyme scheme.
Yeah.
Right,
And
right,
the
right.
meter and the iambic pentameter.
It's like high school kids, just talking
Yeah,
and then
the
like
fast
oh
talking.
yeah.
Yeah, but then like it's nice if you cut deep and really go like you say something truthful, so truthful it hurts. Like
But the Filipino rap battle is out for blood. Like they're out to get blood.
oh yeah, they're talking
Yeah.
about I'm gonna fuck your
The
mom.
tak
and-
tak tak. That what is that guy who goes like tak tak tak? Okay, I don't know. What I'm talking about. You
I
guys-
don't know what that is.
I
Yeah.
don't
There
want
was this guy who goes and he goes to the guy's face like this and he goes. But it's like a
it's a gun like he's
Now it's
shooting.
yeah. But now I'm just
Yeah.
sounding like tak tak tak.
That's the cutest gun. That's like, it's like
Doesn't sound too scary to me.
different guns in different countries. Like in the yeah.
Yeah.
But tak tak skirt skirt.
Speaking of roasting, I'm gonna go hard on this one. Someone said something recently that we're gonna address and talk about. Jokoy came here.
Okay.
Was it a couple of years ago, months ago?
He came. He visits, right? Like regularly. I think when he has like a stand-up special, he comes here to promote it.
Of course, yeah.
When he was he did his Just Kidding World Tour in 2020.
Yeah.
Jan 2020, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he came here, and you were fortunate enough to open for his show.
Yeah, he invited me and 2 other local comedians to open for him.
Nice. How was that experience?
It was great. I
Yeah.
mean, like it was really good. It was 9,000 people,
Yeah.
and
Did you get a bump in your followers after that? Wait,
No. No, not actually. Like maybe 2
Okay.
out of 9,000. Like I mean, like I guess I wasn't that good with social media. I didn't get to plug my
Okay.
you know, and then I was surprised by a lot of people I know already, like friends and relatives were in the crowd. I didn't know they were gonna be there, so I just got all these videos from different angles of the arena.
Okay.
Like, oh, it's Aldo. Like
that's
they had
good.
no idea because we were not on the billing. It was a surprise. So he went to an open mic room that I run. I was hosting that night, and he just walks in like, holy shit, it's Jokoy, and he asked to use the
Yeah,
bathroom.
so I asked you about this. So no one had any idea that he was gonna come.
No,
Like, none
we
of the
didn't know.
producers,
we
even
had
though.
no idea he was going. We just
Okay.
knew that he was in the country, that Dave Chappelle was in the country. So it was like very exciting in the comedy scene. Like, wow, Jokoy's in the country, Dave Chappelle's in the country. It's the
two
start of
goats
2020.
considered, yeah.
2020 is gonna be such a great year. It's gonna be so fun.
Off to a fantastic
And
start.
then I think a month before that, a month or 2 before that, Neil Brennan was also in the country.
Oh,
And
wow.
he performed in Moe's as well.
Oh, really?
Neil Brennan, co-creator of the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
He did an hour special in Moe's,
Wow.
Quezon City, in the
Nice.
basement of a Chinese restaurant. Yeah, that was fun.
So
Neil
he
Brennan.
met you.
Yeah.
Jokoy came in. You didn't know.
Yeah,
But he said he came in-
like asking, "Is there a bathroom?" And then I was just like, "Holy shit!"
So he came mid-show or like
no,
was
it
someone
was
on
like
stage?
I didn't start the show yet. Like I was
Oh.
setting, I was just moving. I was carrying tables. I was carrying chairs. Plugging the mic, doing the sound check. Just everything you do before.
So there was no audience there yet.
None yet. No
Okay.
audience yet.
Did he stick around for the show?
He stayed for the show, and he said I'm just gonna watch. And I was like, you sure? You could perform if you want. And he's like, I'm just gonna watch you guys. And he had his entourage, his there were just like maybe there was some bodyguard looking people. So
Right.
he came with his crew,
Mhm.
Yeah.
maybe like
You
5
were
to
you
7
there
of them.
or no?
This is 2020
Mhm.
in most bar Matalino Street. This is underneath Kowloon House. So that bar is the longest running open mic room in the Philippines today. I think we started that back in 2017. Oh wait, no. No, shit. 2014, 2015.
Okay.
So the longest running open mic room. But anyway, because like that was the first time I ever got starstruck by any comedian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Joe, his eyes. He's like, wow, he's tall. He's like 6-footer. He's and his teeth are like imperial white.
Right. He had the
Very
veneers,
like
right.
like Ross's in you remember
Yeah,
yeah.
in
When
he
Friends
too
where
much whitening.
he made it too white. And I was like, oh, and his eyes are like
Bright.
a lot of colors. Like there
You
were
can
so
get
many
lost in
colors. Like
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Yeah, so he looked very mixed, like European, and then I was like, oh shit, Jokoy's in the bathroom. Fuck.
So you messaged all the comedians like, guys.
Yeah, we started like okay, like message the right people. I didn't want to. Actually when I was hosting, I was like, okay, be careful with let's keep it to ourselves that Jokoy is here. Don't blast. We don't want a lot
A
of people
sudden
coming
rush
in
of people.
because it could only fit like maybe 100 max.
Okay.
Mm.
We don't want.
And was a full night already?
I think that night there were like 40 to 50 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then if someone posted on Twitter that hey Jocko is here right now, Most has a really strong following, it would I feel like it could have been a problem and maybe Jocko wouldn't have been comfortable.
Right. So people knew like when they started coming in like is that
They were just like there's one friend of mine from high school and it was his first time watching open mic. He was just expecting to watch open micers just try material for the first time. And his first time to watch open mic, Jokoy was there.
Nice.
So it's like this is the best thing I can do in a night
Yeah,
out
so
in the Philippines.
I was telling Jokoy like, hey, can you would you like to do a set? Actually, I'm not sure if I asked him. I was like, please. But he was like,
this on stage.
no. I was talking to him before the show started because I was cleaning. I was, every
Okay.
every week I set up the tables.
Did you
And
host as well? You
I
were
was
hosting that
so
night.
I was hosting, and usually, since I run the open mic also, I just make sure that everyone is comfortable because like the show before from the night before is a music gig, so it's not conducive for comedy. So we're sharing a space with other bands, and
Other
every
arts
Tuesday
and
or
everything.
back then it was every Tuesday, but now it's every Wednesday. We put the chairs in a certain way that it's conducive for comedy. You keep it close and tight.
Tight and
nice.
intimate, yeah.
So, I told him, hey, any moment, anytime you just want to take the mic from me, just please, just walk up and I'll give it to you. And he said, yeah, but I'm just gonna watch. So I was right. All right, Jokoy wants to watch us. Let's put on a great show. So I was like, yeah. My first joke bombed because
That's how you want to start.
I roasted him.
Okay.
And it was just a friendly roast. I was like, hey, Jokoy, what are you doing in town? Are you here to watch Dave Chappelle's show? And his whole entourage were just like looking at me, and I got a few chuckles, but I could tell like they were like,
Like this.
we're not gonna get punked by this this Filipino
Open micer here.
this open micer.
Yeah.
So like stone faced, I said whatever. I did my set, and then everyone did a set, and I think there were a
He
few
must
people
have
who,
liked you because you opened for him.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
he liked that I roasted, that I attempted the
Yeah.
roast. Like it was like you don't.
This guy is gutsy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel like that I tried to roast him, I think.
Yeah.
And like I had a good set like, further on, but the first joke
Right,
fell flat.
Yeah.
And
So it was you and someone else.
and then he
Yeah.
got me, Red Oliero, and Yuki Horikoshi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the three of you.
Yeah, so
Open.
from the three Filipinos, he chose a full Filipino, a half Filipino, and a Japanese person.
And he
So it was
told
like-
you right then and there?
It was
or?
1.5. No, he didn't.
Okay.
He called me over and he said, "Hey, I want to give you Red and Yuki backstage passes. You get to watch the show for free." And I'm like, "Wow, thanks.
Right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it." And he left halfway through the show. He didn't finish the whole night.
Oh,
There's-
okay.
It was like 20 plus comedians. The night really goes on until
All those comedians must have felt like shit, right? They're like, man.
there were so many other.
I was just about to
comedians
go
that
on.
They were like, "Okay, I'm gonna," because Joko is there, so everyone was like, "Bring their A game."
right.
Yeah.
Bring my A game. That's Joko. Everyone was excited. Like Joko didn't reach a lot of other comedians too, and I was so excited because I wanted him to see like the strength and the power,
Right.
the like how funny the local
And the different
scene was.
styles of everyone, right? Like I know the Japanese guy does the drawing sort of
so
thing, and
he
then
did, he does drawings, and it like he talks about the cultural exchange of
I've
Japanese
seen him
man
once
living
yeah.
in Manila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out
So
of 3.
you guys opened up. The show went on. You got praises from family members, friends. You've got a couple of followers. And then Jokoy went on a podcast after that, a few months after that, where Jokoy was interviewed or asked by Andrew Schultz about
Yeah.
how was his Philippines show, and the comment about the Filipino comics wasn't
Wasn't in the favor of
positive,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
He basically he said to Andrew Schultz that we ate shit.
Oh, those were the words. Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
so he's like, "Oh, I heard you did comedy in the Philippines," and he told about bringing the 3 of us on stage and performing this arena show. And Andrew Schultz, how did they do? And he said, "Oh, they ate shit." And then they had a laugh, and he binawi niya, like how you retract the statement after,
Right.
nah, they did all right. But then like another friend was like, "Nah, when Jokoy said someone ate shit, they ate shit."
No, Andrew Schultz went like, oh no.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
was like
No
He
one
said
believed
it
him at that
already.
point.
So you had this
Yeah.
opportunity. He had this opportunity to walk the talk about how I love the Philippines,
Right,
the Philippines.
And he had a full-on show
you had the
supporting the
opportunity.
Filipino culture.
yeah, to
right?
like just like put the Philippines scene
the
promote it. Like
Yeah.
just like we don't
it's-
need it.
And
But
it's
then
not that he had to lie. It's not that you're asking
Yeah.
him to lie about something that didn't happen, because he actually has a video on his page where he has them in the video.
Right.
And, oh, my guy smashed on stage.
yeah, he was like, "Oh, these they all
Such
smashed it.
living legends.
Yeah,
all
they
that
all
kind of
smashed it. They I invited them here to my show. These are local comedians. They all smashed it. So like, from us it's like, oh, Jokoy liked our sets.
Yeah.
And then when it came to Andrew Schultz, when it's a perfect opportunity to to promote your fellow Filipinos, like he just threw us under the bus, like how he threw his writers in the Golden
Yeah.
Globes.
Yeah,
So he was
yeah.
like,
Can I
so
ask you
like
something,
like
Aldo?
I want to tell the writers of the Golden Globes, I know
I
how it
feel
feels. I've
you.
been there before you have.
I feel
That's
you.
what I wanted to ask you. Like, how did it feel? Like, you were such on a high,
Yeah.
2020, like doing that gig with him, and then getting praises from him, and getting on that video that they posted, and you got to see it, and people shared that. Then 2 years later, you get tagged to this comment that he made on Andrew Schultz, podcast. Like, how did that feel for you?
It really sucked, dude, because it was like
Mm.
we were all locked. It was locked down. So like pandemic was fucking depressing
So it just
for all
added
comedians. It
on.
just added to the depression. Like
How did you find out about it? Were you just like, oh, Choco is on Flagrant, let me just check out this episode? Or were you
no,
like,
no, it was like because the Philippine scene there's a huge following now, and a lot of them are like comedy nerds. I don't even watch that many podcasts. I'm sorry, you guys, but I'll
It's
start
fine.
watching yours. No
You
problem.
start watching by this episode. Start with this.
I'll start
yeah.
with this episode. Actually, no, I don't like listening to my voice, so I'll listen to the.
no,
other
I,
ones.
I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
know
You
what you
can
mean.
listen
Okay.
to mine. That's fine.
Okay, I'll just listen. I'll just skip over to his
Yes.
parts. Is his velvety Lebanese voice. Yeah, it sucked. Because imagine you get tagged in like this group chat with all comedians, and then like it goes to that part where they ate shit,
Right.
and I don't know how there's no way to spin that in a nice way. There's no way to maybe he meant it and
Yeah.
you just take it on the
Yeah.
chin.
Did you overthink it? Like, for
No, I didn't overthink it. Like I never made it get to me. Like people were tagging me and asking me for my reaction. Like make a reaction vid. Make it.
Okay.
It was like for me. It was like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Jokoy said that it's whatever. I'm just gonna do my own. I'll just keep my head down, continue working, just like work on being a better comedian. Because maybe he really thought that. Maybe he lied when he said that we smashed it. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what to believe now. Like, did we smash it or did we eat shit?
Yeah.
Because it's like that's polar opposites.
Yeah.
And it just gets to the point. It's like, you know what? I don't care what he thinks. I'm not a fan of his comedy. I'm a huge fan of Rex Navarrete. He's the premier for me, like the
Yeah,
OG,
The OG.
the OG Phil Am comedian. Like I was a huge fan of Jokoy's first. I wouldn't say I was a few. I was a fan of his first special live
Live in
at
Seattle, yeah.
the Seattle one.
Yeah.
I like that. It was fun.
I loved
it. Was,
it.
it was
I
really
loved
funny.
it.
And then I just noticed every other special that came out was just more diluted than the other one.
This is what I
And-
say to her exactly.
It was just like, what the hell, dude? Like, so and then just overusing the his mom's voice and.
The
But
culture.
here's the thing. I don't want to shit on another comedian's act. Like I'm not because like. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
we
gonna-
love the art and we have to,
But,
of course,
but if you want to
protect
shit on
as
it,
well.
well, we can. How long
He's
have we been
capable
doing
of doing it.
From what you said, what I took out of it is that doesn't really matter what he says, what he thinks about it,
I mean,
because
there's-
you guys
there's
are
weight to
building it.
Like it's Jokoy. He's just like
Yeah.
he's like the most probably the most successful
Filipino
comedian with Filipino.
it's still
Filipino.
not taking away from his career and what he has done
Yeah.
for the comedy scene. Like, even until this day, we still use Jokoy when explaining to newbies. Like, oh, what kind of comedy do you guys do? That's the easiest way to explain it to Filipinos. Just
Yeah.
tell them,
You know Jokoy?
you know Jokoy?
That's
I
what we
usually
do.
say pork
Yeah.
chop duo.
Pork chop do? Really? I've never heard
No,
you
no.
say that.
No, that's not on stage.
Okay, I'll
But
say.
it's like I mean, like they're popular with the Philippines.
But they're really more of green jokes.
Yeah, but
And
it's
very
still it's
old
like
school.
it's a duo thing.
But,
That's not-
duo.
but the thing is, I used to listen to Pork Chop even
No.
before Rex.
I would say Rex and pork chop.
Pork Chop is actually better because
Better.
I listen to Pork Chop a lot.
I don't even know what pork chop is.
Or it's a comedy duo from the 80s.
Filipino?
Yeah, around that time.
Very
And then-
green
and then,
jokes.
like when I was in Saudi Arabia, we would get their cassette tapes, and I would listen to that.
Ah.
Who do you say?
know.
If someone who doesn't know what stand up is, how do you explain to them what stand up
No,
is?
I like what you said. I always revert to Jokoy.
Like
especially me
He's
being
in
half Filipino as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like it's the first thing that they, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
Dix guy, right?
I'm not
like,
gonna put it beneath me or above me to use that. Like, we say that we don't need the validation, but the truth is we love the validation.
So Yeah.
when it comes, like we do.
Of course.
Here's
well
the thing,
said.
like
They brought Jim Gaffigan. He brought Jim Gaffigan. He was part of the
I
team.
didn't personally bring Jim Gaffigan, but
Yeah,
then
but
I
you're
was
part of the
I was a
producers.
co-producer. So
Okay.
me and another comedian, Micah Andres, we
I know
co-produced
Micah,
it.
yeah.
We
And I'm
handled
a
that.
big Jim Gaffigan fan.
I'm a huge Jim
So
Gaffigan,
I
yeah.
jumped in to help out.
Right.
just to
He
meet the
he
guy.
fed Jim Gaffigan,
Yeah,
and
fed
everything
him
that Jim
hummus.
Gaffigan didn't eat in his green room, I took home. Like always the hot sauce. Thanks, Jim. Like he
The
made like
pastrami, hummus.
he
That's
made
what he wanted.
hummus. Like you know, he's not gonna eat everything. We laid it out like
Yeah.
because he had like a rider list and all that.
It was insane.
It was the first time I dealt with the rider
Cost
list.
around 10,000 pesos to buy all of the things that he
No
asked
way.
for. Yeah.
I don't mind.
Anything
It's like-
unique? Anything weird?
No, nothing weird, but
No.
expensive. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he had one very specific thing, like
Oh, the mayonnaise and ice bucket.
yeah.
Specific Hellman's squeeze bottled mayonnaise
In and
put on ice in an ice bucket.
I really feel
that
like,
was very specific.
I feel like it's his team, or maybe it's his.
We discussed that and we felt like we're gonna do everything just to show that we're professionals. We're
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna skip.
It was an
anything.
honor. Like for me, it was an honor to do that for Jim because I'm a huge fan of his comedy.
Yeah.
And he even signed we had a bar stool that
Okay.
we brought,
in
and he
Moe's,
signed
in
it.
Open Show Mike.
And he signed it in Moe's bar.
If you want to
He
see
signed
it,
our
it's in
stool.
Open Show Mike.
Here's a funny thing, like he signed it and then with a signature and he left a message. It said "Write more," and it was like, "Wow, we brought it to Moe's." And then the waiter thought someone vandalized it, so he fucking scrubbed.
No way.
He scrubbed
That's
Jim
the best
Gaffigan's
story.
signature. I was like, no.
That's the best
he put
story.
bleach on the signature, like you could see it faintly now. I'm so tempted to just draw over
Trace over
to,
it
like,
again.
You know, to forge Jim Gaffigan's
Let's just
Jim,
bring him
if
back.
you're listening to this podcast, come back.
Please,
Resign.
sign it.
We need
yeah.
another
Please
stool that's
resign
signed
it,
by
or, like,
you.
We'll,
See,
we'll,
but the thing is,
we'll put varnish over it
elevated.
next time.
We were elevated to get that message from Jim.
Yeah, Jim Gaffigan's
Did you
been
write
here.
more though after
Neil
that?
Brennan's been here.
A lot.
Who else? Russell Peters, but I'm not sure if he performed with us. No, I don't think.
So the
but he
comedy
came
scene is growing and the audience is growing.
Like, here's the thing: when comedians from the States come over to Southeast Asia, they always focus on like Singapore, Malaysia,
Japan. and-
Japan, Hong Kong. But
Right.
they always like kind of, is there a market for me in
The
the Philippines?
The thing is, it's growing because the founder and the head of Comedy Manila, GB, gets invited to Hong Kong, to Singapore, and he's been going there this past year a lot.
Right.
Getting invited more frequently. Like Ronnie Chang followed him.
Here's
What?
the thing:
Yeah.
Ronnie Chang, he's a Malaysian, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Malaysian.
Here's the thing: the difference with Ronnie Chang and Jokoy is that Ronnie Chang, he didn't throw his Malaysians under the bus. He actually helped them promote. He promoted the Malaysian scene. He didn't need to. He's already a Hollywood status, like a Hollywood level comedian
two
already, a
Netflix
high caliber
specials as
American
well, yeah.
comedian. He
Daily
doesn't
Show.
need to promote the grassroots Malaysian scene. But when I went to Malaysia, I stayed in Kuala Lumpur for a while. I talked to the comedians there, and they said Ronnie has been helping us.
And now he
Imagine
lives
that-
in Singapore. That's where he lives, in
Yeah,
Singapore.
he lives in Singapore.
And all
yeah.
the Singapore comics love him as well.
He's helping the scene. Like he's like every time that he could help, he helps. But like we didn't ask Joy to help us. But then at least don't throw us under the bus.
No, it's it's
We're not asking for your validation. We're not asking you to like, hey, follow the Comedy Manila, follow.
Hey, can you
Mo's
tell people about-
Madalena Street. But at least don't throw us under the bus, dude. Like
It was not necessary.
it was so
Yeah.
unnecessary. Like
it's
I mean, it was not even a like I like being insulted I love being roasted as a comedian. Like when it's funny, it's really funny. But it was just like it was a lazy. If it was a roast, it was such a lazy roast.
and such an international platform as well, right? And
It's just
and-
Andrew Schultz. I'm a huge fan of Andrew Schultz.
Me too.
I hate that. I don't actually hate about it. Like Andrew
It's
Schultz
not
doesn't
that
know
Andrew
about.
Schultz's first impression of the Philippine comedy scene
like-
is like, oh, these are the three best that you picked out, Joko.
Like, they ate shit. Like I think for me, I think why it kind of like hits with me
Stunk.
because I'm a huge Andrew Schultz fan.
Mm.
Like I love Andrew Schultz comedy. So like to tell Andrew Schultz that I ate shit, he didn't mention.
yeah,
my
I know if
name
it
or
ever
anything,
but if ever comes up
I
or
was like,
something.
damn.
One day Andrew Schultz will come here and
Yeah, he's been
We'll
touring
see
a
it
lot.
from
Yeah.
Andrew,
So-
please.
Yeah.
He
I
comes
promise.
here like, hey, we're the three people each.
Yeah. He would actually call you guys
You
up.
can see that guy in Mo's open show mic where he.
You can do all the racist jokes you want, Andrew, if you perform in the Philippines. Like,
Nah.
no one gives a shit. You know,
But it's
just stay away from the religion and politics, and you're safe. Just
But it's just it's
People
it's
love
just super
racist
sad,
jokes
you
here.
know. I'm very upset at that. Like him being where he is today, he must have known the struggle of starting from the bottom, and then when he's finally reached that status, it's like, you know what? You can't even like if it was me, or I'm pretty sure you guys in like a few years or something when you actually made it, and then you want to promote. Oh, you know what? There's a crazy scene in Manila happening. We would definitely do that, but it's just I think he just forgot his roots, and maybe
his roots are
It's not
in
even
America.
rooted here. It's not even.
yeah, I
rooted
don't
here.
know,
not
but
rooted
still, like
here.
his
I mean, like, his
his
mom,
origin
his mom.
story,
Like,
his
here's the
origin
thing.
story.
I get it, because like as a half Filipino, I understand the struggles of like identity politics.
Yeah,
Identity, like especially when you're half of something, you're never really accepted anywhere. So I got bullied in the Philippines for being white. I got bullied in London for being Filipino. So like, I was like, where the fuck do I belong?
Where am I?
It's that kind of thing, like you're you're never something. So after a while, you stop giving a shit. But Jokoy saw profit in being Filipino, and every time he goes here is to promote his stuff. I just hope that he stops using the Philippines as a marketing tool. Like, we're more than that. Like, stop
Yeah.
stepping on the Philippines to make yourself
I
taller.
was just talking to Nathan about this
Like-
as well.
Like, it's already like there's so many people here who are not like. Here's the thing: Jokoy has a huge following, like with our uncles and our aunts. Our uncles, aunts, parents, they love Jokoy. Like Jokoy, they could hear the Vix joke again and again and again and again.
And
They'll never get their yes. It resonates with them, and that's good.
Yeah.
That's his market. But the new generation of Filipinos now, the Gen Zs, the millennials, they hate it. It's for them. It's such a cop out. It's so easy.
Like, do
And
you
the thing
use
is-
Vicks? Do you use Vicks?
I used Vicks, but never on my feet.
I got a nose. That's it.
I got it
On the
here.
chest. I got on the chest.
They used to do this thing to kids where they put it on their eyes, so if they go to sleep, and if
Yeah.
if
So you can't.
if you open your eyes, it'll hurt. So
Yeah.
you're forced to sleep. I'm not. Did I?
No, that's
No.
That's
Child
true.
abuse?
I never happened
No?
to me, but
No. Okay.
but when
That's
Jokoy
true.
said it, I
I've-
could see it happening.
I've
Like, I
heard
would
it
get
in
it on my back.
African culture.
I got it on my
Yeah.
chest. Yeah.
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 Vicks is great, but never on my feet.
Yeah, never on my feet as
No,
well.
I'm sure you drank a lot of 7-Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Arab. That's
Gatorade.
the Arab
Every time we
version,
got
by the way.
LBM, our family always buy Gatorade.
So Janine and I, we just recently got food
That's
poisoning.
legit. Gatorade actually makes sense. Doctors tell you to do that because you need electrolytes to hydrate. It's a Lebanese thing where you drink 7-Up.
7-Up. Yeah.
Really?
It's the cure for everything.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
hangovers. I know that people take Coke and crackers for
It's
No,
7-Up.
but that's the
If you
that's
have
the
an
Arab
upset
one. That's the
stomach,
Arab version.
Drink 7-Up. If you have diarrhea, drink 7-Up.
that's
It's you know that, right?
Yep.
So when my dad found out about Vicks, god damn,
it changed the game.
it changed the game. It was Vicks and 7-Up.
Wow.
Yo,
Combination.
man,
He
that
went
could
crazy for
cure
that.
anything.
My dad went crazy with Vicks and 7-Up.
Perfect
That could
combo.
bring someone back to life after they die. You know,
was.
that's like the
Some
miracle
powerful
drug.
shit.
But then they even started changing it a little bit. Where like, okay, that fizz has to all be removed, and then you drink it like when it's flat. I remembered something like that as well, or I'm just wrong.
Nine out of 10 doctors approve. 7-Up.
And Vicks combination.
Yeah, you'll see at the bottom of the can.
Egyptian doctor, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, the racism.
So, moral of the story: we love you, Jokoy. Or maybe not us, but a lot of people love
I
you.
mean, he's got his
But
fans here. Like the
do
older-
better.
the boomers.
Do
boomers
better.
love Jokoy.
Yeah.
Filipino boomers.
Your love,
Yeah.
but do better.
Like I would just say just stop throwing people under the bus.
Yeah.
Like, and I still honestly think that Jokoy is a great showman, and like I really like Live from Seattle. Like where's I'd love to see him continue and like mature as a comedian. I believe that everyone deserves a second chance or like a a redemption arc, and then you just mature and become a better comedian. I believe everyone deserves
Yeah.
and then could do that. Like, but then I feel like he has a lot of people to say sorry to.
True.
A lot of people. Like, I feel like the list is long. Like, I'm not gonna.
The past couple of years, I
Mention.
think, has been kind of rough for him with
Yeah.
the divorce and then with the hosting, and he has this thing, and so I don't know. I don't follow the guy. I love the first two specials because being half Filipino.
First two. What was the second one?
The one in Hawaii.
No, the one in Hawaii was fine. Yeah.
I haven't
Still
watched
good.
the Hawaii one.
Yeah, those were the first two.
Yeah.
So the one in Seattle is really great.
Best.
And being half Filipino, like you said, that was fun.
Yeah, because like I've never been starstruck in my life. Like I got starstruck when Joke went into Most Matalino Street every Wednesday night.
Moses
Underneath Kowloon House.
So I'm not really affected with all the Joke thing because I really don't follow him. But I understand Aldo where he's coming from, and somebody with that platform, and someone of his caliber as a comedian, doing it for decades, and he's a good comedian. He sells out arenas. For him to, that sucked.
It would have been so great if like someone started playing the piano and I started crying. I know. And we made it like, maalaala mo kaya, like Filipino.
So how did it feel for you?
Yeah, I know. You want to lie down?
finally
There's
get it
a
off.
bed right there, actually.
Like to finally get this off your chest.
Tell me where he touched you.
This is the real
Show
that
us
we're
on the
putting
doll
out.
where he touched
Exactly this one.
I did not teach. Yeah. So,
I
Joke.
feel you, Aldo.
Yeah, it was.
He'll do better after listening to this podcast.
Is he gonna listen to this?
He's
He's got, like, I mean, the dude is
Tag
living in the hills.
everyone listening to this
Yeah.
podcast, tag Jokoy.
Yeah. Done.
Just tag Jokoy.
If we get there, I
Yeah.
would be so happy. If we get to a couple of followers actually tagging
If
Jokoy.
he sees a story of mine, I'll let you guys know. And then I'm like, you might
And
be in the clear.
can I have footage of my set? Like, I've been asking your production team for the past.
Jokoy, do better.
Can I have my set, please? I really want to see if I ate shit.
It's
like, no, because the camera crew took it. He has a whole team,
Yeah.
and they had cameras, and
That would have been great.
because like
They
Red,
never pressed
Red
the
Yuki
record
and I have been asking for our set,
It's gone. Just
You could get it from the compilation of all of the people who.
and then like when
Your
the
titos and
footage
titas.
arrives, like it's full of people going boo, like it's like post edited, like yeah, you're eating shit.
when does the comedy start?
We want Jokoy.
Just 9,000 hecklers.
Yeah,
And you're just like,
and then you see
like brainwashed.
Like,
You're an
being there.
You're a sad excuse for a comedian. That would be so funny.
I'm gonna put you all in your place because we're really over time at this point.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
And
How
I'm
long
gonna
have we
say,
been
let's
doing?
wrap up.
let's wrap up. Let's wrap
Yeah.
up.
So
Any
maybe upcoming shows.
yeah,
how to promote
upcoming
yourself.
shows.
Because I would like to promote a comedy road show that I'm producing with it's a double headline show. It's a double headliner show with Nonong Balinan and Ryan Rem Sarita. We're going to Liwliwa in Zambales. It's a surf town, just like 1 hour away from Subic, 1 hour away from Olongapo. And it's 2 shows. Feb 16 in Lanay, Zambales, and Feb 17, Saturday, in Sestra, Liwa. Yes, so 2 shows, double headliner, and a lot of great openers from Comedy Manila. And I'll be hosting the show. So yeah, come
Perfect.
through.
And you wanna plug Mo's again?
I think you've
Did you talk
heard
about
enough
Mo's?
about Mo's Matalino Street every Wednesday night. Underneath Kowloon House, malapit lang sa QC City Hall, tsaka QC Circle.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nathan.
Just want to plug my social. So Shawarma Machine 33, Meshwe Restaurant. For shows, you could visit our page, our social media pages. It's all there. I'm not going to plug the February shows. I'm going to plug, if it's okay, our March shows for Comedy Manila. So March 16, we're going to start doing theater shows.
Wow.
So I know your listeners mostly would be people in Dubai or Filipinos living there. They do come back here. We'll be having monthly theater shows.
Nice.
So this is theater production shows. The first one is going to be on March 16th, and we are on that same show.
Wow.
Yes, and we promise we won't eat shit.
And everyone's gonna come back home because it's summertime na, so it's perfect.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a
March 9,
monthly thing.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to if you ever here in the Philippines.
Okay.
And you want to catch a show like the best of the best, where we put out our best comedians and our best material. So these are theater shows with theater production levels.
Perfect.
Amazing.
And then they can follow Comedy Manila,
Comedy Manila, yeah.
right? Where they can get all the updates about upcoming shows whenever they
Yeah,
come back
because
here.
we have a website, comedymanila.ph, and just check it out. It's got the full list of shows that you can buy tickets to.
Even in Instagram, and then we get tagged to the shows that
Instagram.
were-
Can I tag my
Yes, please.
Instagram?
And I'll put it all in the description
Yeah,
as well.
follow Aldoritos with 3 S's.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much
And
for
he
your
already said
time.
yours, War Machine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you so
Timmy.
much. Thank you, Timmy.
Thank you,
Timmy.
Flying
He's
House.
asleep already.
House,
He's
thank
already
you.
passed out.
That's it.
See you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.